Right. Yeah, that was just a reminder why I swapped my Nokia 9 out. Um, dear. Yeah. So anyway, I'm now gone back live. I'm on the my XI20, so I'm on my new phone. Yeah, that was just a little reminder why the other reason I swapped out me 9, which is annoying because the camera on that is fantastic. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, yeah, retina stuff. Now that's going to be, um, yeah, I've got some more bits and pieces coming. The good thing is that, oh, what's it come for you? Yeah, the good thing is I've got a bit of a plan of action now, and I've already got one bit done. It's uploaded. It's on this channel. It'll be up in a couple of weeks. I think you'll really enjoy it because I don't think anyone's done what I've just done. And it's in relation to Billy Jasper. And there will be like a second part to that as well, which will be drone footage. Welcome to chat. Back in. Yeah, yeah, I'll swap my phones out. Oh dear, I don't know. Technology, eh? We can love it, we can hate it, but yeah. Um, yeah, that's, yeah, that being that. God, I'm at a loss tonight. Yeah, so that was the, yeah, it was just been a weekend. Didn't do any paranormal recording Saturday night, but I still got out and done some decent stuff. Yeah, we've paranormal content wise. Now, as I was just saying, I think as it froze, oh, it's crazy. It really is. Yeah, paranormal content. I just sort of quickly go. I'm sorry if this is a little bit boring. Um, I'm going to revisit some sites that I've done, notably some of the earlier sites I've done. A couple of them being because um, what happened when I picked things up at these sites, Canvey being prime example, was on the off chance. So I've now done a little bit of research into these places. I'm going to hit them on sort of date sensitive nights, so we might get a bit more content, and there'll be a bit of a collab with some of Battle of Malden. Yeah, yeah. Was it you that mentioned it before, Michael? I can't remember. Someone's definitely mentioned that. I'll check up on the date and see when that is, and hopefully I can hit that one as well. Yeah, yeah, I thought so. My memory ain't that stuffed. Um, uh, yeah. Now there's one that is coming up, and it will be another murder investigation, which it has been touched upon before. But there was I think it was 1989. A lady by the name of Patricia Lee Parsons. I think you could be right, mate. Yeah. Anywhere where there's been a lot of energy and battlefields and all that sort of thing tends to sort of soak that up. So yeah, I'll get on to that. I'll check that out once I've come off of here. Um, but yeah, one that is coming up is the murder of Patricia Lee Parsons. Now that was unsolved, and she was like a high class sort of cool girl sort of thing. She had a number of well-known names on her books that she provided escorting and all that sort of thing. And that was never solved. She was found in her car with a crossbow through her head, and that was over in Epping Forest, but it was Loughton mainly. And I'm just sort of checking over the map on that, and I think I've kind of got the spot. But what I'm sort of seeing myself doing is I'm going to be using my dowsing rods to see if they can, because other than the communication, looking for water ley lines, they can be used to point the way, kind of like pendulums can as well, to direct me in the point me in the direction where I should be looking. But as I say, there's going to be a little bit of collaboration. Hopefully that'll be one of them, with some of the guys that I've been with before, but you probably know who I'm talking about. Yeah, so we're going to look at another murder on the cards. I'm going to try and find some more like that where there's things been gone on in suspicious circumstances. Something I wanted to do last year, I didn't quite get round to it. The one I did look at, unfortunately, I had to pull um, the content down because there were family members that it was still a raw deal for. So, out of respect for them, I pulled that. And I mean, as I said to to the person I spoke to, the main reason I was over there, as we've written them, was to try and get some answers because that was unsolved, and you know the fact that there was a double murder there, and the person that's done it is just walking around nothing particularly. You know they were well. The guy was in over his head, I think, and his partner happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. That was my sort of feelings on it. But yeah, needless to say, I had to pull the footage, unfortunately. But as I say, I'm going to try and see if there's any more. But definitely going to check out the Battle of Malden. That looks great. Hang on, this is one wearing me out because I haven't had a haircut. Look at that. It's bad, isn't it? Something I'm going to do this week. Yeah, so that's where we're at there. As I was just saying, I think the camera froze as I was also talking about ghost tours, and I think that would be very, yeah, definitely. Or was that just flashed up again? I don't know. This is new to me. Um, yeah, as I say, ghost tours. Now, that's the last bit of paranormal stuff that I've recorded. I'm now onto that. So, hopefully, as of this week, I will now be on top of my paranormal stuff. And there's probably about 2 to 3 weeks content in that because I've just uploaded it into my video editor and there's like 3 hours worth of stuff there, and that's excluding the bonus content from GhostTube app. And also I've got I put my EVP recorder out as well, so I've got a fair bit to get through. But yeah, as I say, I'm probably looking 2 to 3 weeks content just out of that last section. So again, I'm hopefully getting back to where I was prior to the start of this year. Well, I've got plenty of content. I'm ahead of myself to soak up any buffers because DJ work comes in Saturday nights and so on. Yeah. What else have I been up to? Not a lot. My Honda's sort of broken down. Well, I say broken down. It runs. It's just very loud because a bolt's popped out the exhaust, and it's one of the exhaust studs. So I'm just waiting for that to turn up at the minute. I've got. Oh yeah, I know I did forget last time. Trigger objects. Bear with. So, yeah, I'm sure I mentioned in the previous episode about trigger objects. So, bottle of water. What do that go? 2 seconds. That's better. Wet the whistle. So, yeah. Now, the obligatory teddy bear. Oh, crap. I lost it again. One of these. Now, what my plan is, one of these with a cat ball. Alright, now that seemed to work quite well. I think, obviously, Tracy uses dolls. I want to go with a bear. The dolls seem to be a little bit hit and miss because some of the spirits that we come across don't seem to like the dolls. Don't know why, but that should be, yeah, it's, how can you not like a teddy bear? So, yeah, the idea is have the cat ball with a teddy bear. Hopefully that'll act as a really good trigger object. It did work quite well when I went on the first ghost tube, the first ghost tour in Rochford. What the lady, when we was in the ballroom, she had the doll there with the ball on the doll, and that did go off. So that's one thing. I've also got a little truck with a ball on it. this is just ideas I'm having. See what I mean? So again, it's just a little tiny bit of Velcro, just hold it in there. So we'll see how that works. And I've got, it's very old. Well, it's only a couple of quid, so it's not really worth a great deal. But I've got, oh shit, excuse my French, a little wagon on horses, which, a little wagon on horses, let me see that, let's move that back in. Don't know how old that is, it's an old lead toy. I mean, I'm not going to start sort of licking it and stuff, but yeah, the idea is I put the ball in there and we'll see what we get reactions. Because obviously, what needs to bear in mind is some of the spirits that we deal with are old, so things like cars won't be something familiar. So older objects like that might help. And what I'm also going to look to do, which I've done once on a few occasions, is have maybe some trigger music, sound effects and that sort of thing. Now I've actually got 2 EVP recorders and I've got little built-in speakers, so what I'm going to do, the second EVP recorder, I'm actually going to use that to put some trigger music on. They reckon items can actually cause hold attachments. Yeah, yes, that has happened. Not to me, but I know what you mean. Which is why when we start, when we every time we start a proper paranormal investigation, you know, we do the opening and closing prayers, which do say in there, you know, you cannot attach yourselves to anything that we own, possess, and so or ourselves. And again, that's clear instructions we give when we do get these objects out. Music, I know, yeah, absolutely. Well, which, yeah, going slightly off tangent regarding music. Now, as you all know, I've been a DJ 16 years, and this year I was having a conversation with someone. Yes, yeah, absolutely. I was having a conversation with one of my, let's say, awakened punters, and it's a little bit of an epiphany moment because you recognise how music changes people's vibrations, or you know, how it lifts people, literally lifts people's spirits and energies up. And I always try and work on that. And I think, particularly when more modern music, it's the frequencies are sort of the vibrational levels are sort of drops, and I think that's why older music is so much more popular, because I think it brings you up on that level that maybe a lot of newer stuff doesn't. But yeah, you know, whenever I finish a night, I try and 9 times out of 10 I finish on Bob Marley. You know, because it raises people's levels, it raises their energies. Basically, daily listen to different. Yeah. Hey, funny. Going off on a tangent again. Before I went over to Rettendon on Sunday to do that bit of filming, I'd stopped off in Battlesbridge. There's a place there called Dragon's Realm. It's a lovely, lovely shop, and they do crystals and cards, you know, all that sort of thing. And I've just picked up, I've been thinking about getting, I'm literally opening this as we speak because I bought it and I've not opened it yet. One of these. So this, you're getting an exclusive. A little singing bowl. You know, I've been kind of looking at one of these for a little while. And also, I'm going to be getting some tuning forks as well, because they kind of help me feeling something I've been starting to get me head around. But yeah, you're quite right, vibrations. Yes, mate, the Buddha bowls. Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah, I've got me feet. I've not. This week I'll get down and I'll I'll get used to that. But this was just literally, I saw this in the shop, and there was a few there, but this one in particular, I'm going to unwrap it just for. I freaking love that. It's beautiful. I absolutely love that. I'm gonna. Obviously, my stick's in the thing, so I can't really spin it around. But yeah, I've been fascinated with these recently, and I saw that and I thought, yeah, I've got to have that. But this is actually, I think this is Tibetan. The can you see the elephant in there? There's yeah, absolutely fascinating. But I'm also going to look at getting some tuning forks because I've noticed the sort of healing effects they have, and it's something else I've been learning recently. It's so strange from what I started, 2 years ago, something just to keep me occupied and maybe give people a bit of cheap laughs, see me scared the crap out of, and 2 years later, this is what I'm doing. Talk about perceptions just going. But yeah, and also, this is like the most random vlog I've ever done, I think. I've got here what I call my exorcist box because I've got some. I've actually got some baptised, some blessed water, which if I have to go into a place, you'll be. I know. I actually get that. I have singing bells, which are similar to the singing bowl. Yeah. As I say, that's I had that blessed a little while ago. Should I ever need to? I'm supposed to be going to visit a place which does have issues. I absolutely forgot about that. I've bought other stuff and I've just forgotten. I've just opened this bowl as a shell. I can't remember. Oh yeah, because I've got all sorts of stuff in here. But what a great song. Yeah, I bought them. They were last year. I was actually after a Yggdrasil World Tree sheet like this, and this is what came up on my search. Love wind chimes in the garden too. Yeah, they're right for a little while. I absolutely forgot. Oh my days! I thought I had another pendulum. Yeah. There's something I've just bought stuff and I've just sort of left it and forgot about it. So I've got a feeling I know what I'm going to be doing this week. just going for my itinerary and just seeing exactly what I've got, and yeah, I'll be trying that bowl out. This is such a random vlog. I've never done anything like this. I've got rose water in here and yeah, all sorts. St Nicholas Church, yeah. Yeah, that was a good song. Oh, that's sage. That's fine. But yeah, yeah, you're right. It does feel like I've been guided with this. Again with the dealing with spirits that are stuck here. As I said, we had one on when I went to Ramsgate Tunnels, and I wasn't. When I'm walking the sites and doing my own investigation, I'm sort of half prepared that there could be spirits that are stuck and need help. But as that wasn't my, it wasn't my organised thing. It was someone else's. I didn't sort of expect to sort of pick up on a stuck spirit, and that's what happened. It always leaves me with so many questions when you interact with spirits. Oh, hang on, don't go. Oh, what have you done there? I just went. I need to read quicker. Yeah, I just say last week at not this Saturday, the Saturday before at Ramsgate Tunnels, there was the spirit of this lady was sort of sent to understand she died in childbirth, or died because of childbirth, and it just felt so traumatic. But the way it was like leave her. We had, my gut thing was we need to help her. We need to help her move on, which is exactly what we did. And because I wasn't, I hadn't sort of prepared myself to deal with that. The after effects I've had this week have been my sort of emotions have been like that. And I felt sort of crappy last Sunday. Just drained. Weirdly, previous ones I felt drained. I've had headaches. This one wasn't so much headache, but I did feel down, and so my mood's just been like that. And I'm now more of an even kill. So I'm sort of settled. But it was just a reminder to me, whilst I focus on protection, both in defence and I won't quite call it attack, but to get my point across that I'm not going. You're not going to scare me away from something. If there's a thing there, being apprehensive on sites is something I've had, but I'd say that's different to getting a feeling of being scared, I suppose. But these are what I wear. All right, now I've got the St Michael there, and I've got my Mjolnir, which is made of iron, which keeps my bad spirits. I've always focused on my protection, not being grounded. So after what happened last week, it was sort of in my head to make sure I focus on being grounded when I walk into sites. And hopefully it'll help with the sort of emotional rollercoaster, I suppose you call it. I don't know what else to talk about. As I say, this just a little bit off the cuff because I was a bit later than what I thought I'd be this week. I thought we'll just do a live one. What I want to try and do is, makes me wonder, where else do you have? Well, we're all consciousness. This is the thing you need to remember. This is just a vessel, all right? What we have here is a short, what I call a short visceral experience, time of our consciousness. We're eternal. And then when this vessel goes, eventually packs up, I think we then either move on or we decide to come back, or some whatever the eternal creator will say, well, you need to go back and do X, Y, Z, which is why there's exactly, yeah, precisely, Wild Witch. I absolutely believe that. And it's weird because, I'm 47, I don't know how long I'm going to live for. I'm going to be in this experience for, but it just feels like such a short time. Just goes so quick. So, to my mind, you make the most of what's here. You try and do as much as you can, be all that you can, and it does. Sometimes it bugs me a little bit when I see people just sort of milling around, just coasting through. Yeah. Well, it's life's eternal, but as I say, this is just like this short sort of visceral thing that we go through right now. And when you sort of wake up and your perceptions change, you've got this awareness of what's going on, in the wider world, and it's hard to sort of, you can let it affect you, or you can sort of be aware of it, but say, right, well, I know what's going on, but I'm not going to let you bring me down there. I'm going to stay here. Nothing you can do is going to change that. And there's a lot of issues going on. We've now gone from the COVID thing when they're coming up to they're trying to do the monkeypox thing, but I think it's like the boy who cried wolf. That's the feeling I'm getting with that, and they're trying the climate thing. Have you had? I can't say as I have. I've had. I think I've had sort of travels. There's a couple of times I've had travels where I've been able to sort of quiet my mind enough lay down and just sort of quiet my mind and get in a nice quiet space. And I've been able to say I've done what I think are travels, and I've had one or two sort of visions that I know, mate. I know, but you know what I'm talking about. Um, it's and you can see it around you. But I think they've blown their load on COVID. Um, they've managed the most asleep. I'd say people that I know that were asleep, even they're like, where this is stupid. Um, so I think they're sort of blowing their load a bit. But when they're having so many other things, and it's that top little 1% elite that's trying to do all this. I mean, I'm without going off into too much. For certain Mr. Ike, he's much better at explaining all this sort of energy vibration and how that top and unseen forces try and control and keep you down here, and it's our job to not stay here but to stay there and try and influence the rest of the try and influence those around us to raise their levels. And as I said, as long as I've been a DJ, it's taken me up until now to realise why I do what I do. And it's precisely that reason. It's to keep people's levels up. Because when I see people walking out of my venues and, they're happy, they're singing, the last thing I want to do is create trouble. It's, just try and create a bit of love. God, this is this is quite pathetic. I only come on here to talk about me, what content I've been up to, and going, yeah. Whenever I see you working on, I see you with a guide of a boy about 7. Really? Wow. This world could be heaven or hell. It's up to it's what you make it. Now that's can you see anything else, Wild Witch? Because a boy of about 7 is new to me. I know I've got. I know my ancestors are with me. I've got. I think my granddad. I never met. He died when my dad was 17. I know my mum's. My mum's always around. Yes, so I know, and I had a strange experience. I don't think if I've spoken about this before, but we went to one of the last protests I filmed. I went up with all my friends in Stanley Park, and no, definitely ain't Pat. No, I don't know if it was him. If I could influence him to sort of, but anyway, that's a different tangent. That's something we're going to look at as I say. I know I said on the second investigation we wouldn't do a third one, but we've sort of since had time to think about that, and there's a good chance there will be a third one, but I need the right people involved because on the first one, Adam and Rob were great. Although there was a little bit too much fucking about, but I think that was because their whole crew was there and they do things very differently. It's nudging sort of, I don't get that. Got to be a third one, mate. We all want it. I know. As I say, it's just making sure I get the right people involved. As I say, I know hopefully who'll be coming with me from the first one, who'll be coming with me from the second, and hopefully. I've got a mind's eye on who I'd want on the third one. So, because as I say, the second time something nearly didn't go right. But yeah, now I suppose the first one I was a bit. I literally jumped. I've been doing this. For a matter of months before I jumped in. What does it mean if out of come I see dark face peeking at me soon as I look? It's okay. Are you having any other issues, Goose? Is that all you can see? Or are you getting any other issues? Good, bad, ugly? Um, if there's anything else happening. Um, we've just lost me train of thought then. As I said, when I've done the first one, I've literally, I literally been doing this for, 6 months? And I've gone from just that. Oh, okay, it's probably having a smoke, mate, if I'm honest with you. Um, yeah. Yeah, it's probably just when you're having a smoke, you're probably seeing things that I don't know. I don't do anything like that. I might try mushroom or something. I don't know, but I don't do. The closer I get to drugs or alcohol, and I don't get enough of that sometimes. But anyway, I digress. As I said, when I done that first investigation, it was a case of I literally jumped from a 30 subscriber new thing to doing this massive thing which is still so much in the public psyche. And bringing in Paranormal Essex was great. Rob was just really good. He's really good with the Estes, and Adam was really good as well. And the other guys are fun. And they obviously have answered genuine questions. But yeah, it's just a case. I don't think I could sort of quite comprehend just how big it would have gone. And then when I've done the second one I brought together under a very short space of time because of what happened with the Niparelis interview. So that second one, that was actually planned to be done what would have been December last year. It was like a year on follow up from the first one. But because the Niparelis story broke and he was saying his dad had done the shootings, I'm like, hang on, no, that wasn't what I got. I have a guide, guardian angel, have a monk just. Amanda, I've got. Yeah, obviously I know you, Amanda, so I'm pretty cool with that. Let's just say we get touched on the first person. That's fine, mate. Yeah, Michael. Yeah, yeah. If you're feeling comfort from that, it's someone very, very close to you. Yeah, there's someone very close to you, mate. You're being looked after. Um, yeah, as I just saying that second one came together very quickly, so I had to pull in people I didn't know, including the two mediums. Now Julie, she's lovely. Mark's, he's a very different guy. Um, what do you think to the Foot Soldier movies? Um, Now the first one was, I mean, I like the idea of the three different scenarios at the end. Now, when I was originally reading up on it, my first thought was maybe it was a police fit up because of what happened to Leah Betts, being the daughter of a copper who himself can use shotguns. Um, that was my initial thought, but once I learned a lot more about what was going on, again, Crime Centre Courtroom, Theo Cloud, Essex True Crime. So watching their stuff, I learned a lot more about what went on, which enabled me the questions for the first and the second one. And it was clear that the police weren't, it wasn't the police that shot them, but the other two scenarios, I think for Rettenham maybe a spirit artist. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you've seen my two episodes, Michael, you know that it was pointed at Darren, who done the shooting. Um, the only question is now um, sorry, I'm just going off a little bit. The you're not fancy doing the allotments. Oh, crumbs, yeah, I've still got to look at that. I'll try and have wandered over there some, because that allotment's down the road from me. But every now and again I walk past, I thought I've got to go in there. Trouble is, obviously it's allotment, so it's locked up at night and there's big steel gates. So I'll probably have to have a pop in there during the day or something and see if I could pick anything up. Yeah, so the foot the Rise of the Foot Soldier thing was actually pretty good. I thought, because of much of what um, happened at that time was there. It was all in that film, so it gave a pretty good account of how things went on. Although, um, obviously, listening to the other stuff that the other channels have done, it does sound like there was a bit more of an issue between Tony and Pat and what the films would have you believe. And as regarding the three scenarios, obviously I've got to stick with the official narrative, which is Nichols and sorry, which was Steele and Wayne was doing the shootings. I can't remember what the third one was. Oh, Take It Like a Man, Son. That was it. That was, I think, something to do. Nipper. It always baffles me. Oh, bugger, this goes so quick. I'm sure I've got to reset this. It was done by a professional. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, they were saying like, a soldier to do it, but when you're looking at Nichols admitted he could handle a shotgun. He used to go clay pigeon shooting, and I'm sure somewhere down the line he's got a firearms offence. Um, no, that's right. As long as you can handle a gun. Now the other thing is I've just been thinking about today with the way they were shot. Now, obviously, that shot to Pat Tate's abdomen. Um, they said to incapacitate him, but if you're going to shoot him in the abdomen, you might as well. This is going to sound funny. If you could shoot him in the abdomen, you can shoot him in the head. You can Untitled Chapter. I don't think professional is in train hitman squad. Yeah, yeah, it does take bottle or a bit of coke up your nose and a grudge against someone, which is what I'm thinking. Because there's arguments as to whether the shooting was, because of Tucker or whether it's because of Tate. Now I'm thinking about it more and thinking this was directed at with a desperation. Yeah, and I think we all know someone who might have been in a desperate situation. And I think this was directed at Tate because when he'd gone in, obviously Tate, the thought is hit Craig first, stop the driver, take Tucker out, and then incapacitate Pat. But if you're going to shoot Pat in the abdomen, you might as well shoot him in the head. You know what I mean? They're going to be from that close a range. It's going to be messy whatever you do, but it's going to take him out. So I think I'm now thinking Craig was shot first, Tate second in the abdomen, and then they shot Tony because they wanted Pat to see this. So I'm thinking that Pat is the target because obviously Bane you can do that, then Tony, Craig and Tony again, and then come round and shoot Pat from the other side. So you're giving him time to see this. You're giving him time. You know what I mean? That moment that you fucked up, pal, and there's no way out of this, and we want you to see that you fucked up. That and we know obviously Pat had upset a lot of people, but I think he didn't. There was something about Nichols. He bullied him and belittled him once. I don't know, on a couple of occasions. Something like that is something I'm going to look into in more detail when I cover Darren Nichols. But do you know what I'm saying? If you've got enough there. Yeah, I know. It's as I say, that's why I went down in the first place because it was an unsolved murder, and I don't know if you guys have watched what I did in Thorpe Bay, where there was a murder committed in Thorpe Bay back in 1945. Now we knew we knew who it was, who got killed, who pulled the trigger there. There's no question. The only question mark that sat over that was why the guy that pulled the trigger got the rope when it should have been manslaughter when he looked at the case. But the point is, I went over there to see if I could pick up anything, and I did. So then that's what led on to the retinum. Because I thought, well, if I can pick something up there, what's the chances I can get something from another site? And being that it was unsolved, it seemed perfect. What of all three weren't together? Pat was like able 1 out of 3. I'm definitely going to slow this chat down next time I do live. I don't know. So again, there's. I'm going to look at both. It's something else I'll be doing down the line is looking at both timelines. The one that is obviously in Blogs 19, you know, the David Nichols versions of events, and then you've got what I class as the other one where Darren's version is sort of accurate up to a point and where they go down the lane. Right, hang on. And Craig's sitting in. Yeah, a lot of people said that, including Theo. It was. I mean, don't get me wrong. From what the stuff I've read about it, Pat would still, Pat was Pat. He could still be a sod, but he was probably a lot more. He was a nicer guy, even though he could be a bastard if he wanted to be. And it was the drugs that, as one of the cards said, poison did this to you. It was the drugs that warped his mind. Concoction, steroids, coke, heroin, special K. He was just taking everything, and you can't go through that and expect to have your head in the same place. To flip out over a pizza. It just shows you. So yeah, but as you say, yeah, a lot of people did say Pat was all right, even though he still could have a temper. But drugs are drugs. That's why I don't go near it. And going on to now, why there's half the reason there's probably so much violence now is because the nature of drugs have changed. Not that I'm an advocate of drugs, but back when back in the day when people of my age group were heading out and about to the raves and all the rest of it. The drug of choice was ecstasy. No one ever wanted to beat anyone up on ecstasy. You just want to love each other, and whatever else is an issue with that drug, the last thing people wanted to do when they was on it was go and kill each other. It's permanently opposite. Even if you remember that scene back in Rise of the Foot Soldier, where Colton's like, all them people in there, and it's just a massive loving. It's the 90s. Oh yeah, they were about. Don't get me wrong, they were about. I mean, I remember I got picked on by a doorman in what used to be Mr. B's. It's like now it's Chameleon, but back then it used to be Mr. B's. The ironic thing was I was only 16, so I wasn't supposed to be in the first place. But I got in and that was that. And it was the smallest doorman in there. He fucking pinned me up by my throat. I'd done nothing. I was just I was just in there because it was an experience. And I can remember being in there and being offered, being offered drugs, like, 20 quid or whatever, and I'm like, no, sorry, I don't want it. Um, you know, and yeah, when this guy pulled me out and he started to surf your pockets out, and of course I had my sort of week's wages on me, which weren't a lot back then. It was I was just training, so I was like £35 a week. And I had a good night. I went, makes me wages, and I can just remember getting pinned by this freaking bully of a doorman. It's never happened since. No matter how many places I've been to, I've never had any issues with any doorman since then. But it was just that one guy, and I've done nothing. I've literally done nothing at all. But I think it just picked on me because I was young. I wasn't doing anything. I don't know. I'll never guess to this day. But yeah, there was a few of them about. Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, did you put up another post, Mandy? Again, it went, and I sort of read half of it. God, 45 minutes. Well, at least I know the battery on this phone's decent. uh, yeah, I think. What was I going to say? Yeah, I was talking about the rise of the foot soldier on. Yeah, so that foot soldier's quite sort of relatively accurate. Oh, Ricky, sorry, love all written the man and stuff. Great. Uh, where the door opened, did the shooter open the door? Good question. I would assume the doorman would the shooter would have done, because there would be no sense to have the rear passenger door open when Pat was up against the near side rear door, and obviously been out for Craig or Tony to open that offside rear door. So I'm assuming the door. I'm assuming he's come out of the bushes, grabbed the door, open. Um, yeah, I'm thinking the gun's in one hand, open the door, and then boom, 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 boom. That's just my thinking off the cuff. But as I say, I think Pat was the target now. Sort of looking at it now, it's just gone through my head. I'm thinking, yeah. So whoever Pat's pissed off, that's the place to look. And yeah. So yeah. Anyway, yeah. Yeah. As I say, I think the shooter was next to them. Well, the thing was, when if you go back to my first paranormal investigation, I did ask Pat if there was anyone in the vehicle. I actually asked it on the second one as well to Tony, just to clarify. I'm sure I did. Whether they had anyone else in the vehicle at any time, when they said no. So I convinced Mick and Jack done it. I no, I yeah, I get it. I mean, the thing is, you can't whip out a shotgun though, can you? Because it's got to be gun. You'll see what you'll kind of see what I mean in a couple of weeks. Following the Mr. D. I'll just let the cat out of the bag. The next couple of retina bits I've got are focusing on Billy Jasper's bits. And yeah, it's, as I say, it weren't Mick and Jack. I think Mick might have had a hand in it, in the setup, but yeah, that's yeah, I totally agree, Michael. Yeah, I think Jack was caught up in it, because if you remember, now there's two things here. Jack actually went to pick up Darren's Passat. It had broken down at the wheat sheaf, and his phone calls do actually back it up. So he was like literally in the wrong place at the wrong time. I never come across it till a few months ago. Yeah. Yeah, as I say, with Jack, do you remember that guy who went around doing the mobile phone of John Wayne's interview? I haven't seen that yet. As I say, once I've caught up with crime scene stuff, I then need to go to Albert Patrick and see where he's at, because we're both on the opinion that Billy Jasper's version of events needs to be followed up, and you'll see what I mean when my the next couple of Billy Jasper stuff I've recorded come up on the channel. Yeah, just going back to Jack quickly. Now Darren's Passat had broken down at the wheat sheaf. He called Jack to come and pick it up in his transporter. Yeah, if you know what happened to Theo and crime scene, yeah, you can clearly hear Jack. How Mick done it? Okay, all right. I'll look at that, but it's there are things that don't ring true. As I say, if I can just sort of wind back a little bit now, um, the phone calls that Darren said Jack had made, and I reckon they picked it up on the Hockley phone mast. Now that guy went down with a phone. I think it was either Jack's or he did. I think he did go down with Jack's phone or a phone very similar, and tried a number of tests, and he found that when he called, when he phoned out from Workhouse Lane, um, the phone wasn't getting picked up on the Hockley transmitter, which is where they said it was getting picked, where the phone was getting picked up from. Where the Hockley transmitter was picking up Jack's phone was from the wheat sheaf. When this guy had done the phone test from the wheat sheaf, the Hockley transmitter picked up on it, and it didn't when he was down Workhouse, which would corroborate with what Jack said in that he was picking up. No, says it was. Yeah, I mean, Bernie's Bernie. I'm not going to say anything other than that. But as I say, when they'd done the mobile phone test, it was clear that Jack was at the wheat sheaf and not in Workhouse Lane, and the Passat that Darren Nichols claimed he was in, there was absolutely no evidence that the Passat had been down that lane. It was leaking oil, 4 different tyres, and so on. And someone of mixed intelligence would not have asked someone to have that dodgy a car come and pick them up. But clearly it was a knackered car, and it seems more obvious it had broken down, and that's why Jack had gone to pick it up. Yes, mate. Oh, good luck. Yeah, I've done. Yeah, I do a few airport runs myself in my job. Unfortunately, not this week though. Yeah, just saying. I'm going to wrap it up in a minute because I've been on nearly an hour. You know. Yeah, as I say, Jack's what Jack said was backed up. So, well, this is it. If you go to my second paranormal investigation, Nipper said his dad done it. Now here's the thing with that. If he said his dad done it, why did he wait 4 years to announce it? You know, if it was his dad that done it, why let Jack stew in jail for 4 years? You know, when he claims to be a mate of John Wilmes. It's a bit of a shitty thing to do. There was something and there was 2 things on this when he said his dad done it. I did speak to, I think it was Lee, because obviously Lee done the interview, and I did ask how tall was Sid Ellis, which is Nipper Ellis' dad, and he said 5'7". Now if you look at the damage to the headrest in the Range Rover, now I stood against the Range. Right. No, I stood up against the Range Rovers and Discoveries, roughly the same height, give or take an inch, I suppose. But I've stood up against several Range Rovers and Discoveries of different ages, and just sort of held an imaginary shotgun, and I can just about, where that damage is on the headrest, you'd have to be about 6 foot at least. Yeah, check it out. Yeah, you'd have to be about 6 foot at least for how the damage is on that headrest. It told me that whoever pulled the trigger would have been at least 6 foot tall. With Sid being 5'7", it was there was no way he's going to reach that. And the other thing was, when I went down the second time, and I asked, the question I asked was Sid Ellis down here? Was Sid Ellis here at any time? And they answered no. So it's not to say Sid Ellis wasn't involved somewhere down the line with this, just that he wasn't there that night. And if he wasn't there, he couldn't have pulled the trigger. So those are the two bits that I got. But as I said, because of that Nick Ellis story breaking when it did, that's why I put together a quick second part to the paranormal investigation, because I wanted to leave it for a year and come back as a follow-up 12 months on, but because of that I brought it forward to February. Right, well, I've been on in an hour. I can't think of anything else because it's like I don't even got a clue what the time is, and I need to get to bed because I've got work in the morning. Yeah, we have to keep our keep the vampires in the door. Pat was shot first. Yeah, you could be right, Rick. Yeah. Hello, Tiger. Turn around. Yeah. Pat could have even been shot first. You might be right. It would have taken a split second to shoot him in the abdomen and then do Craig, and obviously then Tony. Yeah. As I say, to me it's obvious that he was shot in the abdomen, because whoever it was wanted him to see that. Don't kick me off. Don't kick me off the night again. Oh dear, where have you been? I've been on here an hour. Admittedly, this is off the cuff, so I think next time I'll try and I'll try and get a little bit more organised, which hopefully is what I'm going to do once I've got the rest of my editing done. I can sort of say, right, I'm going to do a live vlog on the second Monday of every month, something like that. I don't know. I'll suss that one out. Just a quick shout out. How you doing, Tiger? Are you okay? Yeah, this is a massive vlog, so if you've got an hour to spare. And there was a first part to this until my first phone packed up. Yeah. Always missing you, Tiger, you know that. Yeah. Yeah, always missing you, darling. Yeah, it's yeah, I've been chatting about all sorts tonight. It's been quite fundamental, everything from Rettendon to Tibetan singing bowls. This is gold dust. Thanks, Ricky. Yeah, just been going over some fundamental discussions. Remember, keep your yes, and your roots family. Yeah, this is. Yeah, love and light to you as well, Wild Witch. As actually, yeah, I'm just going to show you that quickly. Oh. What have I done with it? Oh crap. Where is it in here? Sod it. I should have thought about this. Just have a quick look. Is it in there? No, I have got. Yeah, I had this pendulum called. I did have this pendulum calling out to me when I was in the shop yesterday. That's obsidian. But what I do have is a smoked quartz, which I'll be using that to help me ground when I go to future sites. Yeah, as I was saying earlier on in my vlog tonight, whilst I focus on protection, I do forget to ground. So now that I've got that, it is as much a physical reminder to ground myself. Come on now, let's keep this going. Keep that near if you feel negative. Yeah, I will do. I do need to. I've got some rose water, so I do need to clean it and then put my energies into it. So that's probably what I do when I log off. You think a few heads got? Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that was so well planned, and I do think, although as it was, we know now the Rozzers weren't responsible for the shooting, but they I'm actually convinced they did know about it. I mean, Craig, a disqualified driver, going around in an untaxed vehicle, and that copper that stopped to talk to him knew that and let him carry on. Anyone else, if you're driving around disqualified, you'd have been in the back of that car and down the police station. And as regarding Pat, when he carried out that attack to Roger Ryle, again, Pat was out on licence, so the moment he'd done something, he'd have been back inside. So I think someone knew to let them carry on because this was a planned hit. Who carried out the hit at the end of the day, they've done what they've done. But it was well planned. I think, to do it on the Wednesday when there's a shooting going on down there. Now, again, crime scene's spoken about that, and I've sort of brought it up a little bit myself. Mr. Betts could have been. Yeah. There's nothing to say that he knew. We can only speculate. But I should imagine he might have heard something. It's they had so many, as we all know, they'd made so many enemies at the end of the day that probably so many people knew, but who was going to do the dirty deed at the end of the day? That's when the line gets drawn, and that's the bit that's kept quiet, and who actually organised it. I mean, I think Patsy Clark's come up. I think that was one Albert Patrick mentioned. Any other questions? Any other thoughts, theories? Ask me anything at all. Right. Someone should float past me and I actually saw that. But yeah, I've got. I'm now going to be on a mission when I come off of it to find my bloody. It's a smoked quartz, which will be going into a necklace. You're welcome, T. Good to have you. So I'm going to try and do a regular vlog when I put my finger out. Eddie Blundell. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The old school guard from the East End. I mean, Pat and Tony were treading on the wrong toes, and I think particularly Pat because, as you know, he borrowed money from all sorts of places, and he was opening his mouth a bit too much. I think, as much as the films portray Tony and Pat as being tight, when you listen to it more in depth, it's clear there was some issues there, and I think if maybe Pat had either stayed off the drugs or if Tony had sort of distanced himself, then at least Tony might still be here now. That we don't know, but you start upsetting the wrong people, and they've got, no matter how much scruples you think you've got, there's always someone out there who's got more or less. No, that's right. It's a short and you live by the sword, you die by the sword. It's you're up there for a few minutes, and the clever ones get out when they do. And it's reason being that the smart ones are still alive now. They knew when to get out. And that there's a great, I think it's Lad's Bible. I think Lad's Bible has a channel on here, and they're talking to a couple of reformed gangsters, and it's such an eye-opening. It's such an eye-opening experience. What listening to them talk about how they, their days as a gangster, and well, one of them said he wasn't a gangster; he was a businessman who done those things, but they knew when to stop, I think. But one of them said, even now, what do you make of Albert Patrick's thoughts? Well, I've only watched the first interview that Lee did with Albert, and I found it very informative because he did actually mention me, which was quite illuminating. As I say, I'm just catching up with crime scenes content at the moment, which I'm nearly there. And then I'm going to look at Albert as well and see what extra he has to say because I'm hoping there's going to be some info in there which I can maybe put in because they're, as you know, the detectives. Well, Albert's a former detective, and there's a couple of others with TMI that are concentrating on this case, and I'd like to see what extra information they've since been privy to and what they can talk about and whether I can, put my own pieces together and maybe look at. But as I say, certainly the first bit I've done on, the next bit that I've done, not the first bit because we know I've already done the root Billy Jasper. The next content to come regarding Billy Jasper is, I think, something that no one's done. And hopefully it might put a certain amount of credibility at least into part of Billy Jasper's statement, because so far what we do know is, well, from what I've seen, I'm convinced that Billy Jasper's account of getting to Rectory Lane was accurate. It does hold water, particularly, as I say, because I've done the route myself, and the landmarks that he described, that area around South Woodham and Rettendon hasn't changed a lot in the last sort of 3 decades. And I'm satisfied that the account that Billy Jasper gave of the landmarks that he was sort of familiar with do hold water. So it's then a question of how far past with the rest of the statements that he gave, how much of them are true and held to account. So that's kind of what I'm going with the next couple of bits, if that makes sense. And I'm hoping, as I say, once I've caught up with everything Albert's come out with, it'd be nice if I could talk to him myself. I'd love to do that, or at least if Lee's got some more interviews to do, maybe I'll see if I can chat as well, and see what other information has come to light, and see if we can put that into some sort of practical application, and see if that holds water as well. Anyway, right, I'm actually going to leave that there because I don't know how much battery I've got left on this. Blimey. This cat, I'll tell you what, this phone has done so much better than my last one. I've done an hour and... Oh, I've got a text. Have you got what? Oh, shit. Right. And maybe some site. I did actually get smudged last week, so I should be alright. I actually done it last Sunday, but it doesn't hurt. I was saying that I've been on an hour and 10 minutes on this phone, and it's still got half a battery, so I'm more impressed. Anyway, look, I've got to go because I've just had a text come through and I've got to get back to them. So I can't do both. Thank you everybody for watching. This Wednesday, what's coming up this Wednesday? I can't remember. Oh shit. Blah, blah, blah. Hang on. Content. What am I doing? Oh, that was it. Yep, got it. Right. Sorry, I missed that last text. The content this week, it's All Saints Church, East Horndon, Simon Stewart. Oh, that's fine. Yeah, you've got to crack on with that. I will find it. It will reappear. Anyway, good night, everybody. As I say, we went to a church that's not been used since 1970. It's called All Saints, and it's in East Horndon in Brentwood. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We'll be back with you again. See you guys. Yeah, night. See you, team. Take care. All the best. Bye bye. Shoot. That's it.